Hey, what's good, everybody? I am back. It has been a busy content week, but we just got to keep it going. It is once again 110 degrees outside, so I'm heading indoors back to the movies. And today I'm going to escape the expectations and the weight and the pressure of epic westerns and franchise films to check out what should be a pretty easy one-off, Fly Me to the Moon. Now, for me, the space race has always been one of the more interesting times in American history, well, really world history, and especially the Apollo missions. So I think I'm going to enjoy this. The trailers make it look pretty fun, pretty funny, an easy watch, and the chemistry between Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum also looks pretty good. So I'm going to head inside, and I will see you guys in a couple hours. Well, really for you, a couple seconds, and I'll let you know what I thought. And I'm back. Magic. First off, AMC, what are we doing out here? I just paid $15 after taxes and fees for a matinee. 15 bucks for a matinee. And on top of that, I think I just tied my record for the amount of previews I've had to watch. 30 minutes. I think I saw 9 trailers. It ties the record from Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. You know, the movies that make billions of dollars and that millions and millions of people see. Why does Fly Me to the Moon, which made $19 million in its opening weekend, have 30 minutes of trailers before it? You guys wonder why your industry's dying. Who wants to spend 15 bucks to watch 30 minutes of ads before the movie starts? That's crazy. The local theater up by my parents, Horizon, it's a little local theater in Maryland, they play 3 trailers before every movie. If you're stuck in line for popcorn or a drink, you'll miss the beginning. That's how short the trailers are. Ran over. The film is very enjoyable. Off the bat, I'm just going to give the grade. This is a solid B movie for me. Not as in, oh, that's a B-list actor, that's a B movie. No, the grade is a B. Very solid film. And just to give you a little snapshot, some numbers to go with that, right now we're at a 67% critic rating and an 89% audience rating, so very respectable on both fronts. This is not a full-on romance movie. It's also not a full-on historical drama. I'm actually going to read you a quote from an article. So this article portrayed it as a fictional story about a fake moon landing with some real facts sprinkled in. Me personally, I thought this movie was like a modern version of a rom-com. You know, the romantic comedy genre has kind of been pushed onto Netflix. There's very rare for there to be a rom-com in theaters now. But actually, last Christmas there was one. And I actually saw that with my wife and her friend. And I made a video about how I couldn't believe how much money it made. What was that called? Sydney Sweeney was in it. I'll throw up a screenshot of the video because the name of it is escaping me. But in general, they've kind of been pushed to streaming services. And they usually follow like high schoolers or teenagers or maybe young adults, like getting their lives started. So this one's a little different as it's following, the 2 main characters are people established in their careers. They're a little older. I believe Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum are both in their 40s. Let me check that real quick. Pretty close. Tatum is 44 and Scarlett is 39. The budget for this movie is $100 million. It is an original Apple Films production, so once the run's over, they'll be able to throw it straight onto Apple TV and make some money off of it. That's a lot of money to spend on a rom-com. I wish them all the best. Like I said, 19 million opening weekend. We'll see if it gets there. I don't think it's going to get to 100. But again, since they own it outright and they'll be able to put it straight on their own service, they'll probably end up doing pretty all right. So Tatum's character is a fictionalized version of a flight director at NASA. They took a bunch of qualities from flight directors back in the 60s and kind of made his character out of that. Scarlett's character is also fictional. She's kind of just the figurehead for the marketing, the real life marketing push that NASA did to try to make the Apollo program popular again amongst the American people. You know, the Vietnam War was going on. There was a lot of civil unrest at home and people thought money should have been better used at home versus funding the space program after the Apollo 1 tragedy. So NASA really had to kind of rebrand and market themselves. And that really did happen. She's kind of, in this movie, she's kind of the figurehead of making that happen. Scarlett definitely runs this movie. She has the best acting job in the movie. She has the best role in the movie. But she really knocked it out of the park. It was some of the best acting I've seen from her in years, honestly. I mean, obviously she was buried in Marvel for a while. But this was Marriage Story, But you could tell she was having a lot of fun with this character while also taking it very serious. So she was great. And on the male side, I say Woody Harrelson probably brought home the best performance. You know, he's in that stage where he's so famous, he pretty much can just play himself in any movie and it be good, which he did. It was actually funny to see him working as a character that's working for Richard Nixon, because he was just in that show on HBO Max about the whole Nixon scandal, and he was also working for Richard Nixon in that show. So that seems to be a type of character he likes playing these days. Like I said, I think it might be tough for them to make up that $100 million budget, but the one thing it has going for it, other than being an enjoyable movie, is a lot of different groups of people can go see this. You don't have to worry about anything. There's no sex scenes, there's no vulgar language, there's no like over-the-top political stuff on either side. It's just a standard enjoyable movie made for a wide audience. In the theater, there were older women going on like, you know, girl dates together. There were young couples. There were families. I was riding solo. And on top of that, I would also say that this is a perfect date night movie. So hey, fellas, ladies, if you got nothing going on next Friday, Saturday night, maybe a little Sunday matinee action, especially with how hot it is right now in most of the country. Want to stay indoors, stay cool, I'd say this is a pretty solid film to go check out. Now, we all know when it comes to history, Americans can be kind of dumb. Not all, but there's a lot of people out there that just literally don't know and don't care about this kind of stuff. So again, this is a fictional movie. They are using the space race and Apollo 11 as the scene to tell a romantic comedy. Please do not watch this movie and be like, oh wow, I can't believe that's how the moon landing went. That's crazy. What a story. Again, there are facts sprinkled in. They actually used some archival footage at points to really bring that home, which was nice. But in general, this is a fictional story set in that time period. But all in all, I'm glad they made this movie. It was very enjoyable to see all these different types of characters being played during the Apollo missions back in the late 1960s. The fashions, the cars, the way people talked, the makeup, the hairstyles. It was just kind of fun to live in that world for 2 hours. Now, if you're interested in the real moon landing, I can recommend the documentary film that CNN actually made. I think it was around 2017. I know I saw it in IMAX. And the entire movie is nothing but footage actually taken back in the 60s. And it was all shot on film, so because of that, it's not like grainy, it's not small like a lot of old footage is, like TV footage. It looks like what the 1960s would look like if you're seeing it with your own eyes today. So for me, that was a really powerful experience, because again, that's stuff that's, you know, 50, 60 years old now, and usually when you see stuff that old, it's in that poor picture quality, but you can experience the entire moon landing in film, 4K, 8K, whatever it is, quality. So check that out. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me. That was my second time going to the movie in 2 weeks. First for Horizon Chapter 1 and now Fly Me to the Moon. So it was great to be back at it. What's next? I'm not really sure. I'll have to check out that release docket. And it's not the greatest summer lineup for movies this year, but I'm sure something else will come about. I'll see you guys in the comments, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the week.